Hey, how you guys doing?
Great. How are you, Dave?
I am doing fantastic.
Good to hear. Jimmy, welcome
Uh,
back after a week-long hiatus.
yeah. I'm doing good. Well, this is coming out after Christmas, but I've just now, my brain is just like, ooh, we're very close to Christmas, and I'm getting very excited.
I'm getting very nervous
Oh
because
yeah.
I haven't bought many things yet.
I have only bought gifts for my nephews and niece and decided no one else really needs gifts, and I'm just praying World War III doesn't start while I'm in the Middle East.
There you go.
Good prayer.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
hmm
With that, let's hop into our snap impressions of the disaster artist. Jimmy, what do you got for us?
Good movie, fun movie. A bit more touching than I was expecting. I knew they were going to kind of sympathize and humanize Tommy Wiseau and not make him a laughing stock as much. I have some big questions about him in general. I think everyone in the world does, but it's a good movie, like funny and good. I think it conquered being good emotionally, like drama. The drama part was good, and the funny part was very good. So all around, good movie.
All right. Sheehan, what do you got?
Good movie. I agree. Um, I was expecting a funny movie going into it. It was up for Best Comedy for the Golden Globes. Oh boy, was that a sad movie. I felt really depressed towards the end. I was like, oh my God, I felt so bad for this weird, just a weirdo. So I mean, there was a lot of feels going on. I liked it a lot. It was very well done. Franco, bravo, sir. You you nailed this weird guy like to a T. Good for them. Yeah, I give
All
I
right.
give him I give him my kudos all around. How about you?
Nice. I liked it. I've seen The Room a few times. I enjoyed that horrible movie, and I knew they would have to make Tommy like a little bit more sympathetic than I believe he probably actually is in real life, just because he had final say on what could be in a movie or not. So I thought it was a solid balance between like this easily could have been a movie where they were really insulting to him if they didn't need his approval and everything. And I felt like they found a good way to make a movie that showed his flaws while also humanizing him.
hmm
Well, I don't think they went out of their way to make him good because he was part of the movie. Maybe yes, but like it wasn't like we were inside his head. Like that's the
Yes.
perspective this movie came from inside his head, and they did a good job of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anyone's watching this movie and not saying that guy's fucking crazy. They're just
No, no,
also
no.
saying, and it's kind of sad.
Yes. And I think it could have easily been. Oh, I also trust Franco. I think he would have made a more like human story, anyways. But I also think they needed his approval, so they went out of their way to do it a little bit.
Yeah, I got to
But
correct
like
you
it
here.
could have easily been a movie where they were just picking on this very strange person, and it never felt like that. They were highlighting his like weird behaviors, but it was never like look at this weirdo, if that makes sense.
hmm You said it was from Tommy's perspective, right?
I think so.
No, I
I
think it
thought it
was
was more
definitely from
Greg.
from Greg, the babyface guy. It was all because you're on his side more of the time than not, right? Because he was still because he's cloaked in mystery, like who he is, how
Yeah,
old he is, where he's from.
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
And it's also based on Greg's book, which I just bought today for my flight. So I'm excited to read it.
What, there's a book about it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he wrote. Yeah, sorry.
Huh. Okay, cool.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think like that scene where he's like, "I'm a villain. I'm not a villain. You guys are laughing at me. You're the villains." That misunderstood artist is definitely. Greg didn't
Mm.
see him as a misunderstood artist. Greg just saw him as like a nice, weird, sad guy. Like, hey, this guy is nice to me.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Hello,
You
Sheehan.
there?
Yeah,
Who's not
can
here?
you hear? I can hear both of you.
I can
Can
hear
you hear
both of you.
me?
Yeah, I can.
Jesus. Sorry, guys. I missed everything Jimmy said.
All right.
Okay, so that was you this time.
Damn.
All
Sorry,
right,
guys.
I'm gonna clap.
It was a great point, Jimmy. Great point.
I'm gonna
It was
clap.
a
So I
great
gotta edit
point.
this out. Edit out. What I was saying was, is Greg's perspective, but the misunderstood artists, like they really shined that through, especially when he's on stage and they're telling him, you are a villain. And he's like, no, you guys are laughing at me. You're the villains. That's his perspective. Greg didn't see him as a misunderstood artist. Greg just saw him as a really weird rich dude who was interesting and being nice to him. It was like in college, you have your group of friends, and then you have your one who gets like totally drunk, and everyone's like, hey, why are you guys friends with that guy? And you're like, well, he buys shots for everyone. When it's one-on-one, he's not that bad. I don't know. Just let it slide. It's like Greg just was like, this guy does a lot for me. He's weird. He had a soft spot for him, but I don't think Greg saw him as a misunderstood artist at all.
No, he was a good guy who was trying hard to do what he loved. That's all.
Yeah, and hey, they still work together now, 14 years later.
Well, that's very. Yeah. I want to talk about the aftermath, but we can get into that because I have some questions about.
Okay.
That.
All right. Well, then let's hop into our deep dive. Let's start with the things we don't like about the movie.
I got one particular question that maybe you guys picked up on. Mm-hmm. Were they trying to say that Tommy was gay and was in love with babyface Mark?
I didn't get that. I don't think so.
I didn't get that. I think he was just a very lonely person and didn't know how. Like, he's socially awkward. He just couldn't pick up on social cues and was.
He was very jealous every time when he talked to that girl. He was.
Yeah, but I think
he was joke about moving in and like sleeping in his bed, which was kind of like weird. I don't know. Not that it was like heavy on that tone, but I picked up little things here and there. Like when he moved out, he was heartbroken.
But I think he was just gay, finally found a friend.
He loved him. I think he loved him. Like I think right. Maybe it was his first friend, and
it was platonic.
Okay, sure, I can buy that. But he cared about him deeply. We can agree on that one, right?
Oh, for sure. He gave him the. He was the first person on Planet Tommy.
Yeah. That Planet Tommy pen was crazy. He was obviously Planet Hollywood that he took time to manipulate. That's like effort through the roof.
Which was like 1,000% real too, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But what about things you guys didn't like in the movie?
Yeah.
Anything?
Franco, little brother Franco, Greg's terrible beard.
Yeah, that was glued on, right?
Why? Yeah, it was the fakest, most dumbest. Like maybe, what's James Franco's little brother's name?
Dave Franco.
Maybe Dave can't grow a beard. Obviously, probably can't grow a beard, but. This was a very like high movie, a lot of stars in it, money. Like, get a better fake beard.
Yeah, I thought originally it was fake, like for filming, because obviously that guy who played PETA from the Hunger Games, who's in it, the little boy version, his hair couldn't look more fake.
Yep,
but that's exactly how it looks in the room.
No, I understand that. So I originally thought, I was like, oh wow, Dave Franco's wearing a fake beard. But then they made a whole big issue about him shaving it. I was like, oh, so it's supposed to be real. Interesting. So it's a bad beard talking about a bad movie, but then the bad movie was a real beard.
Yeah,
it threw my mind for like a loop there.
It was just genuinely bad. It took me out of the movie. I was like, whoa, that's a bad beard. Also, what took me out is Red Bull. I looked it up. Red Bull was around in 1998. Was it popular? I don't know.
They filmed the movie in 2001, and I think it was like that's like right when the X Games were like going off, and Red Bull was the main sponsor and all that. I think this is when it was super popular.
That might have been true.
Maybe I was too young to drink them. I remember energy drinks taking off like 2005, like mid 2000s when
I think that's when like Monster.
Yeah, like
my first memory was Amp. The little cans, the little ones.
But that took me out because I was like, Red Bull, that was around?
Yeah. I was going to say that you're right, because that's a good point. It was early, maybe right, but
and then
what
also
took me out of it.
Allison Brie said, like, if this movie's terrible, are you going to take it off your IMDb page? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's 2001.
Yes.
Those three things
I leaned over to my wife.
Those three things.
I leaned over. I was like, "What is it? Did they have internet in 2003? Like, was that readily accessible? That was like AOL time."
Yeah, I think it was though. Like, I'm gonna look it up. I feel like
I just looked it up. October 17th, 1990. is the birth of IMDb.
Yep. And I feel like
which is insane.
it might not have been well known to people not in the movie industry, though. I feel like actors would know about IMDb pages and all that.
Maybe. It could be right, but his beard, IMDb, and Red Bull were the only things that took me out of the movie. And then every now and then, when Tommy would smile, you could see like that's James Franco's smile.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't control that. It's actually more insane that he was able to mask the rest of James Franco. We'll talk about that when we talk about what we liked.
Very good. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I didn't have much I didn't like about this movie. I liked the whole thing.
No, I mean, if those are our dislikes, those are pretty.
Yeah, we're nitpicking a little bit. Yeah,
absolutely. No, this was a great movie from top to bottom. It had all the feels in there. You were happy, you laughed. It felt like, I mean, I felt so bad for him. Like in his lowest of lows, I was heartbroken, sitting in my chair, like, Jesus, I want to give this poor weirdo a hug, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and everyone's laughing. People. Are we going to talk about our theater experience?
We can in this one.
We will, because I got things to say.
Yeah, we will near the end, but let's go into what we did like then.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with just a small little detail that I fucking loved, because apparently, I listened to an interview with Greg, and he was saying it was his favorite thing that got included in the movie because it was real. It's when he got picked up to move to LA, and Tommy was like, "Don't touch Robot Crab."
Yeah.
Or Robot Spider. He's very shy. That was just a real life interaction between them. It had nothing to do with the story. It was just such a weird, quirky moment, and I love that scene.
That was a laugh out loud moment for me. Sure.
Like, imagine being Greg, just like, give up your life to move to Los Angeles, and the first thing is like, "Don't touch my Robot Crab."
Just the fact that he's got a Robot Crab in general is hilarious.
Yeah, that's Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about little details that we liked, it's like a small thing. First,
whatever you like, go ahead.
Because there's big things. I'll give my little thing. The first shot of Tommy, like when you make a movie, that's like something directors think of. Like the first time you see a character has to be very much in line with how that character is supposed to be portrayed the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
They can enter any other scene however they want, but the first time you see them is supposed to echo whatever. And the first time we see Tommy's like the back of his head and his weird voice, and then it follows him down the steps to the stage of that acting class. And then he sits on the chair, but the camera spins around and you never see his face. It's just mysterious as hell. If you didn't see the trailer, you just came into this movie blind, you'd be like, who is this guy? Like, what's he look like? Blah, blah. And then he just starts screaming. So it was a really good entrance for the character, like wrapped up in mystery, and good filmmaking right there.
Absolutely. They did a good job of. I liked how they kept asking him where you're from, how old you are, and the fact that we don't really know.
I mean, nobody like really knows even now.
But I do like how they threw in there because Greg's moment of being an actor was seeing Home Alone, which is by far the stupidest answer to saying what made you want to be an actor. Home Alone.
Yeah. I didn't get that either. That was like, why Home Alone? I mean, I guess it's true.
Yeah, an actor.
Some of those things I kind of wish they had changed to be better answers, because this is just a movie.
No, but I mean, he's a.
But I like that they were faithful. Like, yeah, I like that they were faithful to. It's a weird ass answer for somebody to be like, "I'm gonna be a great actor because of Home Alone." But I'm sure there were kids out there that's actual true. Like,
no, he liked Home Alone because it was a hugely popular movie, and he wanted to be famous. He didn't want to be an actor. He wanted to be famous. Yeah, that's what the definition is from there. What I liked about that, where was I going with it? When Tommy said what his moment was, he said he had an accident. Yeah. And then, so in my head, the wheels started turning. Like, well, how? Okay, we don't know where he's from. We don't know how old he is. We don't know how he got his money. I go right to the fact that he was probably like an Eastern European guy living in New York City. And he got rolled hard by a U.S. Postal Service truck and got a lot of cash from the government. And he's got amnesia, and he's got a brain damage.
I'll
tell you guys now, the things that have been like pretty much actually confirmed in real life from where he got his money. Mm-hmm. He sold yo-yos in Santa Monica in the 70s A lot of his
Really?
money came from that. He sold pants at one point in the 80s, and he owned a few buildings in LA. Nobody knows how he was able to buy the buildings, but he just
Interesting.
like there's a lot of theories out there with him like connected to the mafia or and stuff like that that nobody has any idea if it's actually true.
He got $10 million plus by selling yo-yos and pants.
Those are the only two things that have been confirmed as sources of income for him.
I think he made
think
his
those
money.
are like
He definitely made his money
something
before.
else.
He made his money before he got his head bagged in. Maybe the mafia was part of it. He got sideswiped and he got shot halfway upside the head, and a piece of his brain left his body. That makes sense to me.
Nobody knows his exact
He's a
age.
different person from when he made that money. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or he came from money. And Tommy Wiseau's not his actual name.
Of course not. Of course not. What's his? Do you know his real name?
I think it's come out. I don't remember. I'm hoping the book explains it, and I can give you guys at least a rundown on it. But I know
I haven't heard that. But that's cool.
Greg had interviews with them, and Greg had said that he had chose that because he found out that like Tommy had told him at one point he lived in France for a while and he wanted a French name.
Yeah, that fits. Okay, that fits.
So take that for what it is.
All right.
And then, all right, I'm going to give another thing I really loved about this movie that you touched on a little bit, Jimmy, so I'll let you run with it. But I was raving about it a couple of episodes ago, is how well Franco just became Tommy Wiseau. Besides for like the few cracks when he smiled, like you said, it felt like I was watching Tommy.
Yeah, and the smiling isn't even like his fault. It's just you can see his smile, then you're like, oh shit, yeah, that's James Franco. And then you're like, oh wow, I've been watching James Franco. Like completely lost. It's a hard thing to do. I mean,
yeah,
weird ass voice,
body
presence,
movements,
like the way body movements, walking, and like one eye squinted the whole time. Bizarre. Great job by Franco. And just to spin off that, like,
yes,
the Franco brothers making this movie, playing both stars, that's just fun in itself. Yeah.
Yes.
Good for the Franco brothers.
And it was like all their friends too, like Seth Rogen. Allison Brie is married to Dave Franco.
Really?
Paul Scheer.
Are you being honest?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Allison Brie's married to Dave Franco?
Yeah. They've been married for years.
Fuck Dave Franco.
That just shocked me.
Yeah, I know. I'm super jealous of him.
A little heartbroken.
He's pretty much just an actor because of James Franco. I
was gonna say how like my interest went up so far when I saw that Allison Brie came on screen because I'm in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Allison Brie.
But anyway, the point was they pretty much just took all their friends and were like, let's make this amazing movie. And I am convinced now that James Franco, any role he wants to portray, he could, if he like cared enough about it and like to give it his all. Because I think sometimes he's just like, I'm just gonna have fun with friends. But he cared for this role, and like we've been saying, he became Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. There's some James Franco movies where like I don't buy him. That show 11/23/63 where he goes back in time to
How is that? I like the book.
Really good show. Really well made. But like there's times where you're like, Franco, I don't even know if he's acting, kind of just repeating lines right now. I go back and forth. Like I think he's an incredible, talented actor, but sometimes it's like I don't know if he's trying right now, like you just said. But this was really, really good.
There's a lot of things I don't like him in, like was it the 22? I'm Deuces.
Oh,
the Deuce.
The Deuce. Yeah, that him and the Deuce bothered me a lot because he sucked horribly in that one. Decent show overall, but I didn't like him in there. I don't like him in a lot of things. When I saw this trailer, I admittedly know I should have known The Room, or at least the story behind it. No idea. I thought, all right, well, here's just another stupid ass Seth Rogen and James Franco movie about acting. Boy, was I wrong. But yeah, James Franco is notorious for doing a lot of shit movies and shit performances, and maybe sometimes he just stops getting high just long enough to be a good actor.
Well, I
He doesn't
appreciate
smoke weed. Spoiler alert.
I appreciate his directing because he does Bukowski movies and Steinbeck movies and all that stuff, which I like those books. But no, they're not great movies, but no one else is making them.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to Disaster Artist, though. Good.
Sorry, yeah.
What else we
James
got?
Franco, he deserves an award for this, for sure.
Yeah.
Me too.
Now you understand why I was like raving like a lunatic when I was like, he needs to at least be nominated and should probably win.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think they'll give it to Daniel Day-Lewis, though, because I'm pretty sure his last film comes out in time. And this is like his fourth last. I fucking hate Daniel Day-Lewis, but I think they're going to give it to him.
I don't give a shit about him. He's not retired. He's just method acting for another role.
Probably. I wish we had gotten more of like Paul Scheer and Seth Rogen. I like their characters in this.
Paul Scheer surprised me with how well he did here. I've only known him as such a dopey, like
From the League,
all the jokes. Yeah, well, but beyond that, he's always like the butt of the jokes. He's always just like a weak little guy. He took charge. He was when he went after Tommy for body shaming this girl for a zit during the sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, good for you, Paul. Yeah, he had a lot of balls there, and then he was like, well, am I still fired? He was great. Strong performance from him.
Mm-hmm.
The whole podcast crew is there. Paul Scheer and Jason
Mantzoukas.
They have that podcast, How Did This Get Made, where they make fun of shitty movies. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they ever did an episode where they made fun of The Room. How Did This Get Made? They did, right?
They do. They just released, they did a special episode where they also interviewed Tommy and Greg. They interviewed Dave Franco and James Franco and Seth Rogen. All of them. But before that, they played their review from like when they were like ripping on The Room, which also had Greg on that. Like they had Greg there when they ripped on The Room, and then they interviewed all the people. It's one of the recent episodes, like 2 episodes ago. It's worth checking out.
I'm going to.
Yeah, the whole crew is pretty funny. I mean, that's where all the comedy came from for a lot.
Sure.
Like Seth Rogen played his kind of straight man, doesn't say a lot of words, but everything was pretty funny.
And the look on his face when he went to the bank to cash his check and it actually cleared, he's like, really?
Yeah.
That was just
count the bottomless pit. Oh, so good. Oh, but I mean, the guys, the Hannibal Buress and the white guy, I forget. I always forget his name. But when he goes to buy all the equipment from the rental agency, and they're like, "Yeah, sure."
That was Jason Mantzoukas.
Jason Mantzoukas. When such a dickhead move, like, yeah, you can buy all the equipment here, and you can pay us to use our studio. I'm going to give you a deal here. Like, that was such a shitty move on their part. They're businessmen, I get that, but like,
but I mean, they even tried
good for them, sure, but like, such a shitty move. You have to realize when a guy is mentally incapable of making a good decision. I mean, right?
They tried to say, hey, you're supposed to rent it. Nobody buys this. And he said, no, I'm buying it. I'd be like, well, I told you. I'll take your money.
True, yeah. But I mean, they didn't have to throw in the caveat, like, and I'll give you our probably super expensive studio while we're at it.
But I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah, I mean, so that hurt my feelings a little bit. I was like, you sons of bitches, you're taking advantage of this poor man.
Hey, it's where's the line? Like, was he like taken advantage of and just autistic and really had problems, or is he just dumb?
I think he's just dumb and a very weird human. Yes. Yeah. I don't think he's like autistic at all. He might be like,
no, he's definitely, he got hit pretty hard in the head somewhere online.
Yeah,
he might be on
his
the
head
spectrum,
got
but it's not like the point where like I feel bad for him for doing like people tried to help him numerous times and he would lash out because he doesn't have the social skills.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm not saying I would have done the same thing. I just felt like felt weird about it. That's just me. I would 100% have done the same thing, hand up, because money's money. But would have felt a little bad about it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on for what we love?
So,
No, what's the
I think I
next?
got it.
What's the next
All
section?
right, so we're gonna skip writer's room because you can't really like rewrite a
Yeah.
true story too much, and go to audience reactions. Sheehan, I know you're anxious about this.
All right.
What do you got?
Obviously, Star Wars weekend. Not a lot of people watching anything other than Star Wars. I walked into the theater. It was almost empty, aside from one man sitting front and center with his hand down his pants, probably weighing in about 3 bills.
Nice.
Yep. He was having himself a good little time. He wasn't doing anything weird. He just was like, Al Bundy on the couch, just like, I'm here to be comfortable. And then there was a couple younger fellows down front, and then a couple people peppered in afterwards. But these are the 3 guys that really keyed in on, because holy shit, did they love this movie? And I know for a fact they've seen The Room, give or take, 1 billion times, because they were waiting on all the lines. They were waiting on all the funny parts. They were absolutely pissing themselves laughing during the theater scene at the end. So much so that I was like, I want to throw all my popcorn at these guys, because they're like borderline ruining the moment for me.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those people who love something so much and expect something so great, and you force it out of you to laugh and be like, ha ha ha, I knew this joke. I knew this was coming. This is very funny, and I knew it first before people hear it. Like, fuck you and go home.
I had a roommate in college who we would put up stand-up specials, and he had already seen them, and he would say every joke before it came on, but he wasn't doing it to annoy us. He was like, yo, you gotta listen to this joke, you gotta listen to this joke, and say the joke, and we're like, yo, stop.
Yeah. How long was he your roommate?
2 years, 3 years.
Would have
He's like
been
a
2
good
years too
friend.
long. 2 years too long.
Yeah.
Can't trust those people.
I had never seen The Room before, and I still haven't, and I won't ever. I've seen bits and pieces and enough of it, because I do not enjoy watching bad movies. I feel like in high school and middle school, it's definitely a thing. You always have the friends like, what?
You've made that clear. You don't like bad movies.
No, but there's people that are like, you have to watch this. It's so bad. It's funny. Like, no, I'd just rather watch a good movie.
Because you've been in film school, so you had to watch this shit before, right?
Yeah, but film school was recently. It was like 2 years ago. Like growing up, my friends were like, you have to watch this shitty horror movie. It's so bad. You can tell that like the stunts above. I'm like, I don't want to watch a poorly made movie. So I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's not your cup of tea, but I will say this is like,
I know this
bad movies. This is the greatest bad movie that will ever be made.
Yeah, this is probably the exception to that rule. But I had people in my theater too who were like, when they were filming scenes, they're like, oh, this is this one. This is this one. Like, whoa,
yeah.
Whoa.
Go away, dude. You're here to be quiet. Like, just be quiet. Enjoy it for what it is. It's not about you. It's not about what you've seen. A lot of people have seen this movie before. That's why the movie got made. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I got lucky. People laughed at like appropriate times, but nobody was like doing what you guys had, the problems you guys had. I'll even say though, at the end when the credits roll and they show the recreated scene that they were making from making the movie and the actual scene side by side, I was even like, oh shit, I forgot how bad The Room really is. Like, this wasn't an exaggeration at all.
That was pretty cool that they did that.
Yeah, that was nice.
Fun fact, they ended up doing that because there was test screenings and people were leaving the theater being like, that's not a real movie. Like, they refused to believe it was real.
Yeah, I heard that. I also liked the beginning when they had all the actors and actresses talking about The Room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was such like a wide range. They had like J.J. Abrams, they had comedians, they had dramatic actors.
Mm-hmm. So I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Okay. New segment, Q&A.
Yeah, so these are more like philosophical questions. Okay, ready? Who was more lonely, Greg or Tommy? I can't figure it out.
Tommy.
It's easy to say Tommy, but think about what Greg did.
No, I'm gonna go with Greg because Tommy doesn't need anybody. He's loving life in his own little world.
To LA with this dude. He
saw a shot to like actually accomplish his dreams. And think about it, after he was there was scenes with him hanging out with other people outside of Tommy, and like he was able to build a friend group
No, that was Amber's friends.
friend.
Those were
Huh?
Amber's friends.
I mean, I also know like the real story. Like he was able to build a friend group. And
Yeah,
Tommy
that's fine.
wasn't.
But at the moment, he was playing football on the street with a bunch of little kids.
Yeah,
He
he was.
saw
maybe
this
in the
dude.
beginning.
He saw this dude scream on stage and went and tracked Tommy down to hang out with
Yes.
Tommy. And then even through all the weirdness, still was like, well, I have like he's someone to hang out with. I think in this before Greg got real friends. Obviously, we'll say that.
Yeah.
But I think
All right.
you can
I
make
think
the
you
point
can
that
make that
Greg's
argument.
life was a little more sad than Tommy's.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree with that. I think in the beginning you could give it to Greg, but throughout the entire story, the person who was, for the majority of the time, the more like lonely person was Tommy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I just think
technically
Greg
he
is
was.
getting overlooked at what he did. Like that's
It's a lot closer argument than it comes to Pierce, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. I like I said, I immediately was like Tommy, and you convinced me. At least in the beginning, it could easily be Greg.
It's a conversation
Okay.
for sure.
Second question: was Tommy Wiseau successful?
Yes.
Yes, not in the way he wanted.
Yeah, I guess so. But he wanted to be a star and like make a movie that everybody loved. So
I think
Hey, Jimmy.
once
Do
again,
you
I
know
know
his name?
Tommy, yeah,
That we know his
Tommy
name.
Wiseau.
And
His
I-
real
once
name, I don't know
again,
that name.
this isn't fair because I know a little bit like of outside knowledge, but he is a star now to millions of people. Like this is the only movie that's been in theaters for 14 years straight, and he goes to these live screenings every month. And they showed clips of it. Like people love him. He throws the football around with them. He got what he wanted in like a roundabout way. He wanted to be loved and have fans, and he has that now. Like actor he wanted to be. And also in the How Did I Get Made interview with Dave Franco or James Franco and them, they talked about it that Tommy just admitted this year that like, okay, the movie didn't come out how I wanted, but it's creating an emotion in people and they're enjoying it and having fun, and I can live with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say like he's successful now. He's had to spend $6 million, maybe maybe anyone with
Drop in the
money.
bucket for him.
Fucking Kroll, Nick Kroll. He's successful because his dad's a billionaire and paid his way through Hollywood. Otherwise, he would be on some shitty stand-up club. I don't like Nick Kroll, but
I don't like
same.
him either. I don't like him either. The Nick Kroll
I
show was the worst thing
only
ever.
like him in the league. And that's it.
Yeah. Nick Kroll show was the worst piece of trash I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
I heard he was good on Broadway actually. But
Well, good for him. You should stay there.
Yeah, those were my two philosophical questions. I think Greg was sneaky, just as sad as Tommy, and I think Tommy was successful, even though people who the vast majority would instantly think he's not. He was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I also liked in the beginning of the movie when they had all those people and they were interviewing them. I think it was Paul Scheer who was saying you could like put together this like a crew with the goal of making a bad movie and it would never come close to how this turned out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because without Tommy's weirdness and his view of the world, there's 0% chance you make a movie that comes out like this.
I'd love to know the editor's story. Like when he took
Tommy part of that?
I don't know.
Tommy.
When he took the cinematic, the film and the digital to like an editing studio, and they were like, "You want me to make this into a movie?" Like
there's the entire movie's off focus because the two cameras are on either side, and there's numerous times where they'll like switch from like it was in digital and then it goes to like film and it like one's blurry and one's not because they're at the same distance and they shouldn't be and the lighting's wrong and
why did they
like it's banana land.
Why did he want to do that? Was that ever explained?
Because he doesn't understand how movies were made.
I mean, good enough answer for me. Yeah.
That was it. Like he just didn't understand, so he's like, we're doing both.
Yeah,
cool.
like just like you want one or the other. No, we're gonna do both, thinking it's the best. Like you're
both be better.
Yeah.
Instead it's a mess.
All right. Any other questions from you guys?
Nope.
Little detail here.
All right. Sheen's detail corner.
Boy, did he look just like Malcolm Middle Cranston, right?
Oh,
Bryan
yeah.
Cranston.
Yes.
He looked just like Malcolm. He went into a time machine and became Bryan Cranston from 10 years ago. Where does
Yes,
wrinkles go?
A lot of makeup.
He has aged amazingly.
Yeah,
Plus makeup, obviously makeup helped,
but I mean,
but
it was
makeup can only do so much.
when I saw him on screen, I was like, "Holy shit! It's Malcolm's dad." It's not. I didn't think Eisenberg. I didn't think the bad Godzilla. I thought like, "Oh, Malcolm's dad's back." So that was cool. I love little details like that. And shame on Greg for not giving Tommy the finger to go work at Malcolm in the Middle, because Malcolm in the Middle was in the early 2000s. That was Modern Family today. Like, if you want to be on TV and women notice,
Sure.
Malcolm in the Middle is how you got there.
And it's such a it's so rewatchable. I've watched it a couple times because I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it was. And it's so I didn't appreciate him as much when I was a kid watching it, but now he is my favorite character on that show.
Good stuff. Yeah, but I mean, how does Greg not know that the movie he's doing is complete shit?
I think he knew it was, but he just had that loyalty.
That loyalty will kill you in that game, obviously.
That's another. Like, they knew it was bad, but then I guess they all sat in the theater and they were just excited to see themselves on the theater, and then they started like shrinking in their seat because it's bad. Like, yeah, you had to. You were acting with the guy. You had to know it was bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you kind of hope like, hey, movie magic, like maybe they were able to make something watchable.
Well,
they also admitted they admitted they like. Well, yes, they all were.
And they had never.
None of them
had trouble getting work, and
yes,
so they probably never been in a movie. So they probably had no idea how movies came together. They probably only did commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what the disconnect was. But I mean, somewhere along they were probably lying to themselves, because, like the old lady said, "Oh, I have breast cancer. Does this ever come back? Does this mean anything?" No, it doesn't. So you understand that this is a complete bullshit story, and you're not a good actress. You're not featured on a film created by a crazy person, and it's going to work out great for you. Like, the Room is become popular from being how bad it is, but none of these actors or actresses did anything afterwards, right?
No, I have a couple of points to what you were saying. One is that none of them except for Greg and Tommy ever went on to do anything else. And two, a lot of them only there was 3 people, I think, who saw the complete script before making the movie, and it was Tommy, Greg, and one other guy, and none of them got the script. I had none of the actors. They would just get that day's scenes in the morning, and that's what they had a day to learn it. And so they didn't know, it's hard to put it together when you can't read through the whole thing and realize there's no story.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
I love the little. Go ahead.
No, totally off subject. You can go.
I love the little dick bag.
Oh, that's real. Frank Reynolds.
Yeah, that's an actual thing.
No, I know it is, but I love how they put that on full display, because it's how ridiculous it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he was walking around like, "Yeah, I'm clothed. I can direct." He's just naked with a dick bag on.
Which apparently was also true.
I believe it. Of everything in this movie, I believe that the most.
And the robot crab.
Picture Danny DeVito walking around Always Sunny set with just the dick bag on.
No, that surprised me even more, because I would have just assumed he went freeballing.
No, he talks about in an interview wearing it. You have to wear it by union law.
Yeah, but Danny DeVito, he's gone crazy. He probably would
become Frank Reynolds in real life.
Yeah.
Did you know that Chris Pratt almost got sued and fired from Parks and Rec for doing that free ball?
Yeah. Which, after all the allegations of sexual harassment,
that should pop up, but it didn't.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a scene where in Parks and Rec, Lindsay Nope opens the door and Chris Pratt's naked.
Oh, yes, I remember that now.
Has the bag on, but for one take, he took it off and was actually naked, and they got her actual reaction. And then the director said, you better never do that again.
Yeah.
He had to sign a bunch of papers and shit. It was very serious. Obviously,
you heard the story? They sent an email around to the whole staff of Parks and Rec about sexual harassment, and they're going to do a sexual harassment orientation. There will be bagels and coffee. Everyone meet at 8 a.m. in the morning. And that guy that died of heroin overdose was a producer,
Harrison.
Harrison emailed back something like, "Can we fuck the bagels?"
That's incredible. I loved him. Like, he was a great stand-up, and he was great on like all the shows he wrote on and his guest appearances.
That's great.
That just made me sad. I miss him. All right. Well, let's move on. Do you guys have anything else before we go to reviews?
They were good.
All right, let's go to our reviews. Those of you all listening at home know we rate things on a 3-pronged scale. Our critical, which is looking through the lens of a reviewer. Our popcorn, which is how entertaining was it? Would we watch it again? Did we enjoy it? And our pairings, what are we going to drink with it next time we watch it? Sheehan, give me your critical.
Critical score. I always rate higher for a true story because obviously it had to be really good enough to get there in the first place. And I know I've been going mid-80s usually, but I got to go a little higher. I'm going to go 89 overall.
Nice.
I think it's just we've talked about it for 45 minutes now. Yeah, I think we'll end it there. It was really, really good movie. Had some drawbacks, had some things about it that I didn't like, but very little. And yeah, I think it deserves a ton of praise. And acting more so than not. The story was great, and the acting of James Franco alone brings it up to that top tier. Without him doing this movie, I don't know if it gets nearly as much credit. Yeah. So good for him. You guys?
Jimmy?
I have 88 written down. I'm with you.
Ooh. Okay.
Nice.
Look at that. We agree.
And
everything
I had...
they did.
Sorry.
So everything they wanted to do, they did. And the story they wanted to tell, they told it pretty well. So.
Yeah. I had written down 90 beforehand, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Look at that. Ballpark.
What up?
Nice job.
All right, what's that come to? 89 is our average?
Nailed it.
Sweet. And then popcorn. What are you guys giving it?
5.
5, huh?
Enjoyable watch, and I'm gonna rewatch it a couple times.
Dave, you give it 5 as well?
Yeah, sorry, I thought we were all just yelling 5. I got excited. I'm gonna rate it 5 as well. I really enjoyed this, and it made me want to rewatch The Room again. So anything that can do that.
I was giving it a 4, to be honest. Just because overall we averaged them together. It was going to be 5 because 4.77 rounds to 5. So we got locked in. Okay.
You give it a 4 because they made you feel a little too bad for him. You felt a little too sad.
Yeah, because for me, it's not about like how good a movie it is. It's how much I enjoyed it and how much and it just took me out a little bit. It got me thinking like this poor real bastard. It took me out a little bit. So I can't say I sat there like yes the whole time loving it. It made me feel great.
But yeah, so I see what you're saying, but like those questions that I threw out there, like, wait, was he actually successful? I love when my brain gets twisted around with those types of things, and I also enjoy the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah, I mean, it's all the same at the end because it averages up to 5. We're gonna call it a 5.
Yeah,
but that's what I say. I rate lower when I get sad.
Yep.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. We forgive you.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay,
so
cool.
Pairings, what are you going to drink with this, Sheehan, now that you're sad?
Well, like anytime I'm sad, I like to swish around a nice little bottle of Cabernet. Preferably 14-year aged. Much like The Room.
Wow.
That was stupid.
You guys? What do you mean that was stupid? I felt that was pretty good.
I'm going Red Bull vodka. Tommy was drinking his Red Bulls all film. Vodka is very Hollywood-ish, I feel like. Just give me a Red Bull vodka, get the night going.
All right. I also had that, but I'll switch it up. I'm going to go with a Moscow Mule, just because he's from somewhere in Eastern Europe. You can tell just from listening to him. So that's an Eastern European drink. That's my reasoning there.
There you go.
I like it. Not bad.
All right. That wraps up our...
Well. Screw you.
That wraps up our review of The Disaster Artist. Let's do our weekly recommendations. What have you guys been watching, listening to? Whatever. Jimmy?
Yeah. Jimmy, what have you been watching?
I slowly watching The Crown and Godless on Netflix, but
How is Godless?
good. I'm 2 episodes in. It's pretty good so far. We'll see. Jeff Daniels plays a really good bad guy.
Okay.
But my recommendation is a movie from the 80s, Hoosiers. Watched it the last 2 nights to fall asleep to. Gene Hackman's awesome. And like we were saying, these people went to the theater in the Disaster Artist hoping for movie magic, like hoping like, okay, that piece of shit we were just part of, I hope somehow it looked good on screen. Gene Hackman tried to get the director of Hoosiers fired every step of the way because he was like, this movie is horrible. Him and Dennis Hopper joked on set that they just ended their careers. They thought it was like a big piece of shit. They wanted Gene Hackman to come into ADR to re-record his lines. And he said, I'll only do it if you let me see a screening first because this movie's garbage and I don't want to spend all my time doing ADR for it. Sat down, watched a screening with the director, turned around and said, how the hell did you do that?
Wow.
And loved it.
Really?
Yeah, it's not bizarre. Hoosiers is a damn good movie.
Yeah, it's a good. I haven't watched it in years.
I have never
I
seen
might
it.
download that for my flight.
Never seen Hoosiers?
I've never seen it. It's always been on my list to watch for sure.
It's a nice, slow basketball, uplifting 1950s movie.
I mean, it's always at the top of the list for best sports movie of all time. Always, without a doubt. So
I love
I'll give that a shot sometime.
I love the cinematography. It's like 1950s small town Americana.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Dave, what are you recommending?
Oh, all right.
You, Dave.
I am going to go with a classic film beloved by millions. Fuck. All right, I'm going to go with 2 because I just thought of another one as I was saying that. But my first one, The Room. This movie got me excited to watch The Room again. I'm watching it in a couple of weeks with some friends who have never seen it. We're going to a midnight screening here in New York. Pretty pumped to see it again. So everyone go watch The Room, especially if you've seen Disaster Artist and haven't seen The Room. Go see it. It's even more wild than you could ever imagine. And my other recommendation is the Christmas classic everyone loves, Die Hard. This is the first year I'll ever not be watching it on Christmas. I'm super depressed about that. So watch it for me this Christmas. Sit down with your family, your loved ones, and watch John McClane kill terrorists.
Goddamn Die Hard. All right, well, that's good.
Ian, what's your recommendation?
Oh, well, I got to be honest. I haven't seen much this week.
Nice.
Actually, I haven't seen anything. I've been watching is spackling, and I've been watching paneling be ripped off my walls. I've been watching myself rip nails out. So,
all right. In lieu of a recommendation, can you give
Sorry.
us an update on your crazy neighbor?
nothing to report on the crazy neighbor. He is MIA. He may be sick. He may be gone. I don't know. Hopefully on vacation.
You should
Oh, the
go.
lights are back up. The lights are back up.
On which side?
The front.
What?
He must just have them on a switch, and he just forgets to turn him on like for 1 day a week,
Yes,
maybe.
it's not on a timer. It's just like a nightly. If he remembers to
It's gonna
plug
be
them
a switch or
in.
something like that. But I'm more concerned now. My concern has shifted across the cul-de-sac to I call him shithead. The wife calls him Uncle Eddie. It's a terrible house, and he's got a tree growing into his roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he cares about nothing in this world aside from his gigantic Ford Excursion. And
Well,
you know what his Ford Excursion are? It's like borderline tank.
Yeah.
The man might be 5 feet tall.
Well, I gotta get the
Watching
big
him
car
get
then.
into that car, yeah, watching him get into that car is a comedy at its best. It's almost like a running start. So
Like
I
he's
feel like
mounting a
you
horse.
were just not cut for
yeah,
suburban
mounting a
life.
horse. I'm perfect for suburban life. I'm judging everyone I see.
Yeah.
Slowly judging.
I feel
making
like
sure
you
that I'm
think
better
you're
than them.
perfect and you're just like hating everyone, but the rest of your neighbors are all talking like, "Oh, that fucking asshole, Sheehan. He's so
Yeah, he
rude to
doesn't
us."
rake his lawn. He barely shovels his driveway. He's always
Yeah.
staring out his window. Yeah, that guy. That's me.
He has binoculars. We've caught him like staring at us.
Yeah. But on my list of things to watch is The Crown. That's high because I love the first season, so I'm excited to watch the second.
I've never
Yeah, I'm
watched
on
it.
the 4th episode.
Yeah, I heard it's high drama with Scandal.
Oh, I got
So-
another recommendation. Sorry.
Hit me, Dave.
I just
Do it.
started Black Mirror for the first time.
Oh yeah, Black Mirror's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And I grew up loving Twilight Zone, and it's pretty much just modern Twilight Zone.
It's a little more fucked up.
Well, yeah, it's like modern
Well, Twilight Zone,
sensibilities for
Twilight
Twilight.
Zone tried to be fucked up, but it couldn't with all the
Well, it was for its time. Just looking
exactly
back on it,
first time it was fucked up. So
Yeah,
gonna ramp
that's
up
true.
the dial a little bit. So there we go.
All right. Well,
Well,
that
guys,
wraps
good
up
talk.
this episode. See everyone in. I don't think we're
Next
going to
week.
record again until 20. Well, yes, next week, but that'll be 2018, won't it?
It is
Perhaps.
2018 right now.
No, this comes out the week of Christmas.
Yeah, this is all for naught. Sorry.
See everyone in 2018 is what I was
We're
trying
not-
to say. Hope you
We're
had a
not
great
good at this
Christmas.
whole recording early thing, guys. We
No,
gotta get better.
Time travel
All right.
is confusing. I don't know when we're talking.
Okay, cool.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Sounds